The world today is creating weaker people with every new generation. With the lack of education on how to improve oneself, people's mindsets have negatively been affected, causing them to have a fixed mindset rather than a growth mindset. If you want to get right into learning how to get a growth mindset, timestamp is in the description below. However, I recommend watching the whole video as I explain the difference between a fixed mindset, a growth mindset, how they both affect you, and then I also go into the neuroscience behind a growth mindset. So what's the difference? Well, a fixed mindset can be summed up by you think your abilities and your overall intelligence is fixed so that it can't be improved. Can also be viewed as just you are good at this and bad at this and there's no improvement. If you have a fixed mindset, you will oftentimes feel that you want to avoid challenges, you give up easily, you always look for the quick fixes, you look more short-term goals rather than long-term goals. Now, what is a growth mindset? You actually believe in your abilities. If you're bad at something, you will work on it to improve. You're going to challenge yourself. You're also going to accept setbacks or failures, because that's how we really grow. We have to fail if we truly want to grow. Now, what are the benefits to a growth mindset? You're going to put more effort into learning. You're going to embrace challenges. You're going to view others' success as inspiration. You're going to view feedback as an opportunity to learn. You're going to have fewer psychological problems like depression and anxiety. You're also going to have increasing grades if you're in school because you want to learn, you want to grow. So you're going to put more effort. Now we're going to dive into the neuroscience behind a growth mindset and what it does to you and what two parts of the brain are affected. So the first part of the brain is the anterior cingulate cortex, the ACC. This is involved in learning and control. Someone who has a growth mindset has heightened awareness of error. So going back to that failure, somebody who has a growth mindset accepts their failures and setbacks, learns from them, and grows. This is also going to help neutralize the effectiveness response to negative feedback. Somebody who has a fixed mindset won't take negative feedback as well as somebody who has a growth mindset. So another part of the brain that's also affected is the DLPFC, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And again, the ACC, anterior cingulate cortex. Both of these help with error monitoring. Now the DLPFC plays a crucial role with working memory, planning and problem solving, inhibition control, meaning that you're able to control inappropriate responses or behaviors. So more as in social situations, you know how to actually respond, you know how to handle certain things, certain situations, you know how to handle feedback. These two parts of the brain are extremely important and get very stimulated when you have a growth mindset. So now that we know what a growth mindset is and how it's beneficial, we will now be getting into how to actually get a growth mindset. So there's a couple steps to getting a growth mindset. Step one is the realization. So you need to realize that you can improve. That's the first and most important thing. We are always improving and learning from our good and bad habits. So once you become open to knowing that even if you are struggling, you are getting set back, that you are still always growing as long as you learn from those mistakes. Another thing is we need to get rid of the inner voice. That inner voice is going to tell you that you will not improve, that you're always going to be bad at this. So you need to get rid of that inner voice. How do we do that? Well, you need to realize that your inner voice will mostly think of negative thoughts. So you need to acknowledge those negative thoughts and then think of a positive thought to counteract that negative thought. This is going to be challenging and it's going to take some time, but once you get used to it, you'll be so much better along with improving yourself. Step 2 is a reward process. So you just did the most difficult part, realizing that you need to improve. You got rid of the negative thoughts. Step 3, you need to challenge yourself. Again, we grow by challenging ourselves. So once you start believing in yourself and your abilities, nothing will hold you back. The only thing holding you back is your mind. So seek change, seek improvement,